when you're dating, in that phase, it is okay when certain things, you're not going to move with everybody and everything into this next season of your life. Certain things are going to fall off, certain habits, certain people.
I know no man is an island, and even when we're in that bubble, we let certain people in, but I think it was based on their values. Hello everybody, welcome back to Covenant Union, a show about marriage, about parenting and Christian living. When we were dating, we had one of the most interesting relationships. We just disappeared off the scene. We just decided to concentrate on who we are.
And what we were trying to build.
And what we were trying to build, yes. And that was different for me. I don't know how it was for you.
I think, like we've said in one of our podcasts previously, one of the things that was very different for both of us was the intentionality in the relationship.
Yeah.
We sat down and actually had that conversation around, so what do we want to achieve here? Are we just having a fling? Are we in this thing to be in it?
Yeah.
And we very early on in the relationship, I think within like the first 1 or 2 months,
yes, we knew
what we wanted.
Yes, we did.
So it was, I think even subconsciously, for most of the things that happened after that, that was the foundation. Things just started to fall off because we had a goal.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So I think we just wanted to talk about just the journey of how we moved from a place of, personally, I know that I was in a space that I'd never even been in before. I'm such an individual. For the people that don't know me that well, and I really believe I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
But I'd gotten into a space where my life was hinged onto other people. All the plans I made, I think it's a phase that maybe most girls go through, where everything you do, you have to do with a certain group of people, you have to be together all the time, and that had never been me. So I quite don't understand what that phase of my life was, but I guess it served its purpose. And because we got together, I think around that time.
Yes.
So because we had a goal, I never intentionally said, I need to stop hanging around these people. That didn't happen. But somehow I found myself in a place where I was spending every working minute with you.
Yes.
We'd separate to go to work and then we'd come back home, and then we just built this thing with such intentionality. And I think I also watched it happen with you.
Yeah, it was never intentional to go into the introvert. We became together we became we got a bubble, and some people would think that it's not a good thing, but
you can say it can look very unhealthy,
but on our side, I think it really helped us. It helped us figure out where we want to be. It helped us figure out how we are going to get there, and what people we need around us to make sure we get to that place. Because where we were at that point, the people we were with didn't have the same mindsets. It's not that they're bad people.
No, they're not. They're actually very amazing.
Very
people.
amazing.
Very amazing.
They're nice people, to tell you the truth. We had a lot of fun with them, because when we started dating, it was like one big group of friends.
Yeah.
And we'd always go to different places. But actually the same place. But when we sat down after dating for about 2 to 3 months and realized that we wanted to go for the long haul, it was kind of automatic also for me to sit back and start thinking about what life would be like with you. And that would mean growing old with you. That would mean getting rid of certain things that were not going to work for the long term. And we had some tough conversations there. We had some awesome times. We had the most peaceful relationship. It was so strange. It was, the excitement, yes, was there, but it was a calm excitement. Everything we did, we loved to do it, but calmly. It was different from
everything we'd experienced in the past.
And I think it became more intense after we figured we are going for this, to get married and have children, and I think what helped us a lot also was God. We keyed into God. We were both believers, but not practicing.
But
lukewarm.
You show up when you show up. You don't show up when you don't show up.
Yeah, it wasn't
His
intentional.
grace is sufficient for us all who are in that kind of phase.
Yeah, the way we abuse the grace of God, it is quite something. So we keyed into God. I started ministry. I think. I started ministry in a choir.
About that time.
Yeah, because we figured we're not going to be able to do this without God. Everything we knew had dropped off. So the friend we invited into this relationship was literally God. And that was a turning point in our lives. And we didn't notice it until years later. Many years later. We didn't notice what he was doing to our relationship.
I think all this just to say that, especially when you're dating in that phase, it is okay when certain things, you're not going to move with everybody and everything into this next season of your life. Certain things are going to fall off, certain habits, certain people. Just sometimes even maybe family, but there's, with intentionality, and when you invite God into the relationship, he always starts to sieve out the things that will help you grow in your next season. At least that's what happened with us.
Yes.
It's okay to realize that in life, your friends in primary, some of them are not your friends today. They served their purpose in that season. You serve your purpose in that season of their lives, and you must grow.
Yeah. And I feel like when you said that, I feel like God was preparing us for a time such as this. And when
absolutely.
I look at the whole journey and where we are today, all the ups and downs, everything we went through, you actually see the lesson in every relationship. You see the lesson in every situation that you went through. I think that is one of the most important things in a relationship. Looking back and seeing and learning.
I think in life generally, like how usually I pray about, especially when it's a hard time, I always ask God not to miss the lesson of that season. I don't want to go through it in so much pain and so much anguish that I don't pay attention to what it is I am supposed to learn in that season. I
know no man is an island, and even when we're in that bubble, we let certain people in, but I think it was based on their values.
I actually think that season, if I remember right, especially when we moved in together, our social circle was our families.
Our families, yes. We invited them into...
Yes, very intentionally invited them into that bubble because, they are family. And by family, I actually mean immediate family, parents and siblings, that they had to walk that journey with us.
Yeah. And then I found a friend in your mom.
Guys, it's going to have to be an episode for that. Deborah Tremont told my mom. They have their own thing going on, their own mother-son relationship, that I hear things that normally mommy would have told me. Then 3 weeks after something has happened, Everyone will tell me, oh, by the way, mommy was telling me. I'm like, I have no idea. What are you talking about? But yeah. That's a story for another day.
It's a tit for tat. When mom was still alive, you literally stole mom. So you'd talk about things, and I'm also thinking, but mom it used to be my place. Like, she's talked to me about this. Then all of a sudden, my family stopped inviting me directly. They would call Ali to invite us for something. It was interesting.
But I think that's what we reaped from that season of shutting ourselves away from the world and focusing on each other and focusing on our families.
Yeah. And we created a bond with our families that it's all round.
Yeah. And is it perfect? No, it's not. Like every family, we have
ups and downs
and here's and there's. But the bond is so solid that we can both honestly say that we've not experienced those in-law issues.
Stories.
Like, if there's one thing you'll probably not see on this platform, it's a conversation around how to deal with in-laws. And let's just... the tip is to invite them in and just
them into your life.
Be you, but allow them to be them as well.
Yes.
I very early on understood that I had my role to play when it came to Raymond. His sisters have their roles to play. His mother had her role to play. And they are so different and worlds apart that no matter what I do, I could never be his sister. No matter what I do, I could never have been mom for you. And no matter what they do, they cannot do the things that I do for you.
Yeah.
So if everybody sticks to their world and we meet in the middle,
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's for the greater good of this one person that we all share and love. I feel like it's just simple mathematics. If everybody could stick to their corner, such harmony. At least it's worked for me. Yeah.
It has worked both sides. And I remember when we were getting married, and the pastor told us, it was Pastor Nsubuga, and he mentioned that, whatever it is with in-laws, make sure that when you're giving, let's say when I want to give to my mom or my dad, I make sure it is Ali who does the giving and I'm the background, and vice versa. And when I thought about it, it's not that we do it all the time, but when you were talking, it made me realize that that's what you're kind of saying. Like, they have a role to play, but now you're coming in to just help this role continue. So what I would have done for them, like if I wanted to do something nice for them, if I let you do it for them, they start seeing us as one rather than competing individuals. So I think we came from talking about the people around us, and for us it's family. That's how we went into in-laws. But it's very important to keep a very tight leash on your surroundings. And
just to say, especially for the ladies, I know so many stories where the in-law issue. I think the thing to remember is, please set your boundaries. I mean, I have my boundaries with my in-laws. Raymond has his boundaries with my family, and they are respected because it's just a natural thing. I mean, I also respect their boundaries with me. I'm not just going to go and do something outrageous simply because, So it's about boundaries, and it's about communicating those boundaries. Yeah. Because what might seem obvious to you might not be that obvious to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
And love them. And love is a doing word. So you can choose to love your in-laws and do the best that you can for them. And it may not be perfect, but one thing that we have learned over time is when you choose to love, eventually whatever relationship it is, it turns around.
Yeah, it heals. There's nothing as healing as love. Really.
So, so who do you surround yourself with other than family?
Other than family. So in the later seasons of our marriage, because we prioritized God. We said, anything, God, anything that is not of you, we do not want it. So it really affected most of the choices we've made.
Yeah.
The people in our social group, the places where we worship, the schools our children go to, the people we allow our children to interact with, because we want them to be around people who share our values.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense for you to spend the entire day teaching your child a certain value, and then it's all undone in a weekend of a sleepover at a friend's house, or simply because your values don't align. And that's just an example. Just an example, but I hope you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're right. The thing is, we also see it happen at school, because not everyone at school has the same values. So you find that they're making friends with people who don't have your same values. But you have to just keep teaching and saying, this is how we do it here. This is how we do it at home. This is how we would love you to do it. This is what the Bible is saying. And it's important for that. And even as a couple, who are your friends?
Yes.
Do your friends impact your marriage, or they take away from your marriage? It's very important to surround yourself with friends that believe in the kind of marriage that you believe in. For example, I am a very strong believer in loving my wife like Jesus loved the church, and giving everything for her. Now, if I choose to be close to someone who thinks it's okay to trample over their wife and leave them hanging, not knowing what's going on, and not watering them with the word of God, eventually I will start to do the same thing, intentionally or unintentionally. I will do it. So, like you said, we are surrounded by church, by those people who have the same beliefs. And a few of my friends right now are the people who believe that we need to set an example as men that is different from the norm. What's the norm? All men cheat. What's the norm? Men come back late. They prefer to be with the boys.
The idea of leadership, and the society's idea of leadership, is as long as you provide, you've covered the leadership part in a home. And so most men neglect all the other. Yes, and I'm not downplaying provision. It's such a huge part of leadership, but also leadership comes with all these other aspects.
Yes.
And for me, the thing that I'm most thankful for, okay, maybe not most thankful, but one of the things I really, really love about you is you have really modeled for our children how to be a husband. And I know our girl will know exactly what not to accept in a husband and what to accept, because they've seen you exemplify that Jesus aspect in our home. Yeah, you go beyond just the provision. It's the spiritual leadership. It's how you interact with us. It's how you water just the entire family, how you talk to me, how you love on us with such intention. I keep saying I don't know what my daughter will get, but I think from the time she turned 1, for every Valentine's Day you've given her flowers. And I keep thinking, man, I don't know, but I will keep it on the altar praying over my child to find a man who will up his game. But I mean, for her to know that flowers is the bare minimum. Don't bring me flowers and think you've turned my whole life around.
No.
Yeah, like things like that. Your intentionality is impeccable.
Thank you.
But I threw you off.
Yeah, you threw me off. It's wow. And yes, like I was saying, the people around you need to be thinking the same.
Yes.
And recently I was talking to a friend who pointed out a scripture that said that we need to understand our wives. We treat them with understanding and care so that our prayers are not hindered. And he said, can you believe that I can go and pray, and because I've treated my wife badly, my prayers won't reach?
You might as well not pray.
It hit us so bad. We're having a drink out And we both thought, whoa, this is totally new. So it just went into another area of, you know what, let us go and treat them well no matter what. Like, it's not always going to be smooth.
It's not.
But the choice to make sure you do what is right is very important. Yeah. And it's nice to have accountability partners too.
Yes, I think also that's what I was coming to. No matter the friends you have around you. And I find that our generation especially, we are very prone to having friends who, I think it's their way of cushioning us. Very few people will call you out when you're going astray, when you're doing things the wrong way. And it's such a crucial part of adulting to have people who will hold you accountable, who are not afraid to actually look you in the face and say, Ali, look, nope, this is just not it. Also, while you're praying that God brings along those people, are you being that person for someone else? Are you being that kind of friend? I mean, don't go bashing your friends, but then don't allow, you are called to get people back on the right track.
Yes, you are. And it starts with getting yourself back on the right track. Being accountable to oneself. It's one thing that we, the millennials and the Gen Zs, are very, we slack on it a lot.
I think it's because we actually don't understand the whole aspect of accountability.
Yeah.
I mean, we're actually meant to do today's talk was about accountability, and then we said, no, let's go back and actually dig deep in ourselves and study and do whatever we need to do to fully understand what accountability is and looks like. So imagine for a Gen Z, I mean, we are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so, and you know, even our parents probably trying to figure it out. And it's because it's not a word that is thrown out there often. It's something that people imagine everyone is thinking about, but you find that most of you are not thinking about it anyway.
Yeah.
So accountability is something we'll have to talk about.
But with accountability, it also brings to mind how open are we to criticism? Because you cannot be held accountable unless you're willing to listen, to self-search, to reflect, and admit your own mistakes.
Yeah. You know, when you talked about that, I realized that you criticized me and I couldn't take criticism for so long. And then I said, you know what? What's the worst? Let me take it on. And when you take it on and get that point that you, like, for example, when you criticize me on simple things, even, it doesn't have to be something big. Let's say just
pick up your socks.
When we were growing up, it's like it was that our fathers, they would remove the socks and put them wherever they are and walk away. Yeah, it was something.
I mean, they're probably going into the room where the laundry basket is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then I grew up, mom telling me, don't leave them. So it was a bit easier to take such criticism. And such things, you take them and start to make sure you're accountable to yourself. Yeah.
But also, I think for me, the thing that made me open to hearing what people think of me or just general criticism was understanding that it came from a place of love. That no matter how painful it felt in that moment, they would actually not be truly loving me if they kept quiet. They saw me do something wrong and just kept quiet. And in that moment, it really feels like you're being murdered.
Yes.
But it's for the greater good, and they truly, truly come from a place of just wanting to see you get better.
We tend to massage our bad habits.
Yes.
Yeah, we massage them and
because most of the bad habits
slide.
Feel good. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah.
There's such a place of comfort that to approach yourself from that place and pursue something that's probably not even enjoyable but is the right thing can be quite tricky.
Yeah, that's true. And I think for you to pursue that thing, you have to have a goal. You have to have an intentional decision to get better. Every single task that you do, it's just a choice that you have to make. I think life is just that. We keep saying it's a choice. It's all about choices.
Choices.
And I hope that you go out to be accountable to yourself first. It's very important, especially the young generation, because the older you get, you kind of fall into accountability. You don't intentionally walk into accountability. And I don't want
so
my
life
kids...
makes you accountable as you get older.
I don't want my kids to fall into accountability.
And then you're trying to play catch up at that point, which is...
Yeah, it doesn't... You could be doing so many more things. You'll be more productive. Yeah. We shall talk about accountability another time. Today we just wanted to share how
surrounding yourself with the right people is such a crucial part of a relationship, of a marriage.
Yeah.
Of personal growth.
So choose your friends wisely. Choose your accountability partners wisely, and choose God above all.
Surround yourself with people of the same values, please.
Yeah. I hope you've been blessed. We'll be seeing you another time. We'll be seeing you next week. And this has been Covenant Union with Ray
and Ali.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.